Once upon a time, in a grand kingdom surrounded by dark forests and sparkling streams, there lived a young princess named Clara. Princess Clara was as kind as she was beautiful, with hair like spun gold and eyes as bright as sapphires. Her favorite pastime was to wander the palace gardens and play by the marble fountain, where she would toss her golden ball high into the air and catch it with delight. One sunny afternoon, as Clara played near the fountain, she threw her ball so high that it slipped through her fingers and splashed into the deep, clear water. Distraught, the princess knelt by the edge and peered into the depths, but she could not see her precious ball. She began to cry softly, her tears falling into the fountain. Suddenly, a small, croaking voice spoke up. "Why are you crying, dear princess?" Clara looked around and saw a green frog sitting on a lily pad, gazing at her with curious eyes. "My golden ball has fallen into the fountain, and I cannot retrieve it," she replied. The frog smiled. "I can help you retrieve your ball, but what will you give me in return?" he asked. The princess, eager to have her ball back, promised, "I will give you anything you wish. My jewels, my crown, or even the finest dresses from my wardrobe." The frog shook his head. "I do not desire your riches, princess. I only ask that you let me be your friend. Allow me to eat from your plate, and let me sleep on a pillow in your room." Though the request was strange, Clara agreed, thinking that the frog's wish was impossible to fulfill. The frog dove into the water and soon emerged with the golden ball in his mouth. Clara clapped her hands with joy and took the ball, thanking the frog. She quickly ran back to the palace, forgetting all about her promise. The next evening, as the royal family dined, there was a knock at the door. To Clara's surprise, it was the frog, hopping into the grand dining hall. "Princess Clara," he croaked, "I have come to remind you of your promise." Clara's heart sank, but the king, her father, asked her what promise she had made. Reluctantly, she told him the story. The wise king nodded and said, "A promise must be kept, my daughter. Invite the frog to dine with us." With a sigh, Clara placed the frog on the table, and he ate from her plate. After dinner, he followed her to her room. The princess tried to ignore him, but the frog reminded her of the promise. She set a small pillow for him at the foot of her bed, feeling a mixture of frustration and guilt. The next morning, Clara awoke to find the frog still there, looking up at her with hopeful eyes. This continued for several days. The frog's persistence began to wear down Clara's initial resentment, and she found herself talking to him more each day, discovering that he was wise and kind. One night, as Clara prepared for bed, she looked at the frog and felt a pang of compassion. "You have kept your side of the bargain faithfully, dear frog," she said softly. "Thank you for your companionship with that." She gently kissed the frog on his forehead. Suddenly, the room filled with a dazzling light. Clara stepped back in astonishment as the frog transformed into a handsome prince. "Thank you, Princess Clara," said the prince. "I was cursed by a wicked witch to remain a frog until a princess showed me true kindness and friendship." The prince, whose name was Florian, explained how he had been transformed and how only a genuine act of love could break the spell. Princess Clara and Prince Florian spent the next few days getting to know each other better. Clara learned that Prince Florian was not only charming, but also brave and noble. News of the transformed prince spread through the kingdom, and the two were soon married in a joyous celebration. They ruled together with wisdom and kindness, teaching that true friendship and keeping promises were treasures more valuable than gold. And so Princess Clara and Prince Florian lived happily ever after, their bond stronger than ever, showing that kindness and true friendship can work magic beyond our wildest dreams.